this film is so unique. It's such a unique concept, and if we do it right, we have a little sliver of film history that is just for us, because it's a film completely without dialogue.
I was so amazing, they would like to make this kind of movie. Because for some other filmmaker, it could be a very risky, project.
John is not just an iconic film director. I mean, he is the master of the camera. And I've never worked with a film director before that can tell so much of the story just in the way that he moves the camera.
I have so much confidence about this. I know so much about movies. I know how using, a certain kind of technique to tell a story. And I also is very good at visual.
He has weird, crazy ideas and fun, and I don't think that's gonna work, and then you do it and it works. So it's just a fun director. He's a fun director.
That was a fascinating experience to see him doing it and sort of using what I like to call turning the defect into an effect, and using the lack of time and resources and turning it into cinematic gold.
But there's one thing I remind him every day. There's one thing very important is I need to see their eyes, because their eyes of the actor, their real emotion, their real feeling is that you can see, all you can see and feel all through their eyes. So I need a little special lighting for the eyes. No matter what you do, what scene, it's a night or day, I got to see the eyes, and I got to see the color of the eyeball,
Your body language, your inner life, what's being expressed through your eyes, all that becomes much more important. So it's actually more difficult, and it's more challenging.
So in a way, this script being dialogue-free was a great fit for the way he thinks, because since you're not trying to fit in all the dialogue on the page, you can literally change the action a little bit, and he can change his shooting plan for the day if he needs to, or adjust it, which I think probably drove some people crazy sometimes, but ultimately was really, it's his style, and it makes for great filmmaking.
I didn't want the movie cut it in like a typical Hollywood style. Cutting very fast, very choppy, and every shot is very short, and it seemed to be, they didn't care about character or story, they just make everything fast. But that's not Zach's style. He liked to tell a story, and tell the story nicely, and leave a space, and leave some room for the audience to think. Let them to think about it, and let them to feel about the character.
John is someone who is a master at execution. While we're filming it, I just know, when you get that feeling when you're filming something, it's like, I just know I'm doing something epic.
He was constantly looking for ways to tell the story with the visuals, and to sort of have the visuals and later on the sound, but have the visuals telling a story, telling a state of mind, describing a state of mind.
When I'm editing, I have this sound in my head. Not nearly the sound that Mark is going to bring. He'll take my ideas and make them 3 times better.
Well, as we know, hardly anything besides dialogue that's recorded on set ever gets used in a movie, because it just can't. The logistics of it really can't.
There definitely was a challenge of being the voice a little bit, but it had to supply the emotional background for the arc of the film, really, and that was the main thing. The actors were amazing. I don't know, honestly, maybe it's harder even to act when you're not able to speak. You have to communicate everything through just physicality. But I was really guided by that, and by the way that John shot it and the way it was edited.
Not having any dialogue and not having to work the sound effects or the music around it is an incredible opportunity, because you can mold those 2 sound groups against each other as appropriate, without having a 3rd group to deal with.
If somebody's saying a line, something, I might comment on the line or do something that supports whatever they're saying or the emotionality, but maybe I wouldn't do it right when they're saying it. Maybe it's a question of let them say it, and then it's like, then the music can say something. When you don't have the dialogue there, the music can be almost a little bit earlier.
The score is such a critical piece in any movie. I mean, we created the temp in the editing room. On some movies, you have a music editor working with you. We did not have a music editor because we didn't have enough budget, frankly. Not only is it in the temp you're trying to create, the pieces you choose are obviously very important. But what's also really important is the what's called the spotting. Music spotting is the post-production term for it. But it's where you start and stop the music.
Oftentimes, music is used as a crutch when a filmmaker is uncertain about the material and you want a guide. But if music doesn't have a point of view, it shouldn't be in the picture. So I like that John's a strong director and he has faith in what he's doing, and there's scenes that are quiet. And it's okay. It's okay to be quiet. Like, you don't need to be hit over the head.
You know, believe it or not, we did do ADR in this film, but not for words, for breaths and efforts and things that really supported the physicality of it.
When I worked with Wachowskis, they both started out as carpenters, and we used to talk about that all the time, making the building analogy. You know, when you build a house, you start out, you come up with a design. You work with an architect, and you come up with a blueprint, a framework. And then everything you do from that point on, I mean, the materials you pick, and the kind of windows you choose, and the countertops, and you're building on top of the original design. And I think making a movie is much the same.